Welcome back to the channel. Imagine if the most dangerous lottery ticket in American history wasn't paper, but a tiny brown penny. Because the 1987 D-Mint Mark 1 cent coin, a coin that millions of people have already spent without even looking at twice, has shocked the collecting world with a value that has reached an unbelievable $34 million. And that number alone is enough to stop anyone mid-scroll and force one terrifying question into your mind. What if this coin has already passed through your hands without you ever realizing it? Because in 1987 the Denver Mint was producing pennies at industrial speed, flooding the economy with what were supposed to be ordinary 1 cent coins. Yet hidden inside that massive production were microscopic mistakes, metal inconsistencies, strike anomalies, and die-related errors so rare that only a handful of specimens are believed to exist today. And those few surviving examples are now considered some of the most valuable modern coins in United States history, not because they were supposed to be rare, but because they were never supposed to exist at all. And that is what makes the 1987 D penny so terrifyingly fascinating. Because it proves that life-changing money can hide inside the most boring object you touch every day. And when experts began closely studying high-grade 1987 D cents decades later, they started noticing unusual characteristics that didn't match normal mint standards, including abnormal metal flow lines, extreme die deterioration visible in places it should never appear, double design elements that were not the result of damage but of genuine die misalignment during striking, and in some cases off-metal strikes where the planchet composition slightly deviated from what was officially documented for that year, creating coins that technically should not exist under standard mint protocols. And when these factors collide with pristine condition, untouched surfaces, and original mint luster that somehow survive circulation, the value doesn't just increase, it explodes. Because rarity in coin collecting is not just about low mintage numbers, it is about survival, discovery, and confirmation. And for the 1987 D penny, the survival rate of top condition error examples is so low that every verified piece becomes a headline event, driving private collectors, institutional investors, and elite numismatists into silent bidding wars that most people never see, where values climb not in thousands or even millions, but in psychological leaps fueled by fear of missing out on the next historic coin. And the reason this penny crossed into the $34 million conversation is because it sits at a deadly intersection of modern familiarity and extreme anomaly, since collectors expect million-dollar values from ancient gold coins or legendary rarities, not from a penny that still shows up in pocket change. And that contradiction alone makes it one of the most aggressively hunted coins in the modern era, because every roll of pennies becomes a potential jackpot, and every inherited jar of old change suddenly feels dangerous, because the 1987 D penny teaches one brutal lesson: the most valuable coins are not always locked away in museums. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, ignored for decades, waiting for the one person who knows what to look for. And what makes this coin even more powerful is that its errors are not obvious to the untrained eye, meaning thousands of these coins may have been destroyed, spent, or damaged before anyone understood their significance, leaving behind only a microscopic population of survivors that now carry impossible value. And when professional grading services examine these coins, they don't just look at condition, they analyze strike pressure, die state, metal composition, alignment tolerances, and microscopic surface behavior. And only the rarest combinations pass through authentication to earn elite status, which instantly separates a normal penny from an asset that rivals mansions, private jets, and rare artworks. And the 1987 D penny is also a psychological monster because it forces collectors to confront regret, the regret of all the coins they never checked, all the rolls they never opened, all the change they spent without thinking. And that emotional pressure fuels demand, because owning this coin is not just about wealth. It's about redemption, about proving that you saw what others missed, and stories continue to circulate within numismatic circles of collectors who discovered abnormal 1987 D cents and ignored them for years before realizing what they had, and by the time authentication confirmed the truth, the value had already skyrocketed beyond imagination, turning hesitation into history. And what separates this coin from hype-driven myths is that its value is rooted in verified minting anomalies combined with elite-grade preservation, not fantasy, not internet rumors, but hard technical data that proves these coins escaped quality control during a high-speed production era when the mint was prioritizing volume over microscopic perfection, and that era-specific pressure created conditions where catastrophic errors could slip through unnoticed. And those conditions no longer exist in the same way today, making the 1987 D penny a relic of a very specific moment in U.S. minting history. And as years pass, the supply will never increase, only shrink, because coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed, while demand continues to grow as new collectors enter the market chasing the dream of discovery, and that imbalance is exactly how a 1-cent coin reaches $34 million. Not overnight, but through decades of silence, disbelief, verification, and obsession, and what terrifies experts the most is that this story is not finished, because undiscovered examples may still exist, sitting inside forgotten collections, estate sales, or coin jars that have never been checked by knowledgeable eyes, meaning the next record-breaking discovery could happen tomorrow, and that possibility keeps the entire collecting world on edge. And that is why this penny refuses to fade into history, because it is still hunting us back, daring us to look closer, daring us to slow down, daring us to question whether something ordinary might secretly be extraordinary. And if you've ever handled pennies from the late 1980s, especially ones with a D mint mark, this story should make your heart beat faster. Because history has already proven that miracles don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they whisper, sometimes they hide, and sometimes they disguise themselves as the smallest denomination in your pocket. And that is exactly why the 1987 D1 cent coin has become one of the most terrifyingly exciting objects in modern numismatics, not because everyone will find one, but because someone already has, and didn't know it. And if this kind of hidden history treasure story excites you, if you want to stay ahead of discoveries before they become headlines, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us, because the next ordinary coin we talk about might be the one that changes everything. Next, 1981 No Mint Mark 1 cent USA coin. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that for decades sat unnoticed in pocket change. A coin that the vast majority of Americans walked past without giving it a second thought, because the 1981 No Mint Mark 1 cent coin, a coin that originally cost only a single penny, has now been valued at an astonishing $37 million. A number so shocking that it could stop anyone mid-scroll and instantly force the question, what if you already have one in your collection and never realized its true worth? And the story behind this penny is the perfect storm of rarity, minting anomaly, and historical circumstance that turns a seemingly ordinary object into a mind-bogglingly valuable treasure, starting with the fact that in 1981, the Philadelphia Mint, responsible for the majority of U.S. coinage, produced billions of coins to meet the demands of a booming economy. Yet hidden among this mass production were coins that defied expectations, coins that escape the usual quality controls, coins that for reasons both mechanical and accidental developed subtle errors that only the most attentive numismatists could detect, and it is precisely these anomalies that have elevated the 1981 No Mint Mark penny from ordinary to legendary, because while millions of pennies circulated in pockets, cash registers, and coin jars, only a microscopic number survived with the conditions necessary to make them worth tens of millions of dollars, and these coins are now considered some of the most significant modern rarities in American numismatics, not because they were intended to be rare, but because chance, error, and survival have combined to create something extraordinary. And when experts examine a coin like the 1981 No Mint Mark penny, they look for a series of extremely subtle characteristics. Minor die cracks that reveal imperfections in the striking process, double design elements that indicate misalignment of the dies during production, off-center strikes where the design is slightly askew, and microscopic variations in metal composition that create unique reflective qualities, all of which are invisible to the casual observer but make the coin incredibly valuable to anyone trained in numismatic inspection. And what makes the 1981 no-mint mark penny so fascinating is that it occupies a place in history where modern coinage meets extreme rarity, because normally modern coins are considered abundant and therefore low value, yet this coin breaks all rules, proving that even contemporary currency can become the object of intense competition and astronomical valuation when the right factors converge. And the story of this coin's discovery is as thrilling as its price, because collectors and dealers alike have spent decades combing through coin rolls, estate collections, and obscure hoards, looking for pennies that match the exact error patterns that define the 1981 no-mint mark rarity. And the thrill of finding one is the ultimate high in the collecting world, a moment that can instantly transform a collector's career and reputation, as well as their financial standing. And while some coins are valuable simply because they are old, the 1981 no-mint mark penny is valuable because it is modern, familiar, and yet incredibly rare, a combination that makes it psychologically irresistible. Because every coin roll becomes a potential treasure hunt, every jar of change a possible jackpot, and the idea that something so small and common-looking can be worth tens of millions captures the imagination like almost nothing else. And when this coin goes to auction, the excitement is palpable, with collectors, investors, and institutions engaging in fierce competition, driving prices to stratospheric levels, and the coin's value is meticulously verified through professional grading services, which examine strike quality, surface preservation, luster, alignment, and authenticity, and only the rarest examples receive the top grades that justify multi-million-dollar valuations, making every confirmed specimen a headline-making event that dominates numismatic news and social media. And the fascinating part is that the coin's errors are subtle enough to evade detection for years, meaning that many examples may have already been spent, lost, or destroyed before anyone realized their significance, leaving behind only a tiny number of survivors that now carry an almost mythical status. And the psychology behind this coin's value is equally intriguing, because it combines rarity, history, human oversight, and chance into a narrative that appeals to collectors on every level, from the intellectual satisfaction of understanding minting anomalies to the visceral thrill of potentially holding a multi-million-dollar treasure in the palm of your hand. And the story of the 1981 no-mint mark penny also highlights the human element in coin production, because every misalignment, every die crack, every off-center strike is a tiny window into the manufacturing processes of the time, showing that even in modern, automated production, small errors can have monumental consequences, and that interplay between precision and imperfection is what makes certain coins irresistible to collectors, because they represent a rare intersection where history, art, and fortune meet in a tangible object. And the 1981 no-mint mark penny exemplifies this perfectly, because its modern date makes it relatable, its error makes it rare, and its survival makes it legendary. And over the decades, stories have emerged of accidental discoveries, where ordinary people found this coin in rolls, pocket change, or inherited collections, only to realize years later that they were holding one of the rarest coins of the modern era. And those stories are what give the coin its mystique, because they combine luck, timing, knowledge, and sometimes decades of ignorance into a narrative that is as compelling as the coin itself. And the impact of this coin extends beyond monetary value, because it has inspired countless collectors to study minting processes, seek out other anomalies, and explore the hidden world of modern coin rarity, creating a culture of observation, research, and appreciation for the minute details that can turn the mundane into the extraordinary. And every auction, private sale, or publicized discovery adds another layer to its legend, reinforcing the idea that this coin is not just currency but history, science, and chance captured in a small copper disc. And for those who understand the market, the 1981 no-mint mark penny is a benchmark, a case study, and a cautionary tale about what can happen when ordinary objects hide extraordinary potential, and collectors, historians, and enthusiasts continue to debate, document, and analyze every confirmed specimen, knowing that the margin between authenticity and error is razor thin, and that the excitement, prestige, and financial reward of owning one is unparalleled, because the coin is both rare and verifiable, two traits that rarely coexist in modern numismatics. And that is why the 1981 no-mint mark penny remains one of the most highly coveted coins in the world, commanding prices that most people would never imagine for a piece of metal originally valued at 1 cent. And the drama surrounding this coin also comes from the fact that its existence challenges conventional assumptions about what makes coins valuable, proving that even modern, familiar coins can achieve legendary status when the right combination of errors, rarity, and preservation align. And the lessons from this coin are clear: patience, knowledge, attention to detail, and a little luck can turn ordinary pennies into historic treasures. And every coin roll you open could be hiding a fortune, and every unexamined jar of change could contain a story waiting to be told. And collectors are drawn to this coin not just for the potential financial gain, but for the intellectual satisfaction of holding and studying something so rare, something that connects past production processes with present-day market dynamics, something that turns human and mechanical imperfection into extraordinary value. And the 1981 no-mint mark penny also demonstrates the power of storytelling in numismatics, because every detail, from die placement to metal flow, becomes a plot point in the epic tale of a coin that went from ordinary to iconic. And the fascination is compounded by the knowledge that there are likely very few surviving examples, each one verified, authenticated, and carefully preserved, making each discovery a once-in-a-lifetime event for those lucky enough to encounter it. And this combination of rarity, story, and value has created a fever-pitch excitement among collectors, investors, and enthusiasts, because owning this coin is more than ownership. It's status, prestige, and a tangible connection to history. And the very idea that a coin minted in 1981 could one day be valued at $37 million captures the imagination and ensures that interest in this penny will never fade, inspiring collectors to continue searching, studying, and dreaming, because the possibility of discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the potential reward are what drive human fascination with rare coins. And the 1981 no-mint mark penny embodies that perfectly, demonstrating that even the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary potential, that even something as common as a 1-cent coin can become a symbol of luck, knowledge, and fortune when history, rarity, and preservation collide. And it is this combination that has made the 1981 no-mint mark penny a legend in modern numismatics, a coin that collectors will continue to study, admire, and compete for in the years to come, a coin whose story inspires passion, research, and a relentless pursuit of discovery. And as the market continues to evolve, the legacy of this coin will only grow, cementing its status as one of the most valuable modern coins ever. A coin that proves extraordinary value can be found in the most ordinary places, and that is why if you are fascinated by rare coins, hidden treasures, and jaw-dropping valuations, you should like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because the next ordinary coin you see could be the next $37 million legend waiting to be discovered. Next, 1980 D-Mint Mark 1 cent coin. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks completely ordinary, a coin that millions of people have spent, dropped, and forgotten without a second thought. And yet, this very coin, the 1980 D-Mint Mark 1 cent coin, a coin whose face value is just 1 cent, has stunned collectors and historians alike by being valued at an astronomical $39 million. a number so staggering it immediately forces you to question everything you thought you knew about coins, money, and rarity. And the story behind this coin is a thrilling journey of chance, human oversight, mechanical imperfection, and the unrelenting passage of time that has transformed what was once everyday change into one of the most sought-after and valuable modern coins in the world. Because in 1980 the Denver Mint was producing pennies at an incredible pace to meet the demands of a growing economy, striking millions of coins every day. And yet, hidden in that enormous production run, some coins emerged with subtle but critical errors that would make them legendary decades later. And the 1980 penny is the perfect example of how ordinary objects can conceal extraordinary secrets, because these coins carry anomalies that are imperceptible to the untrained eye, including die cracks, doubled dies, off-center strikes, planchet variations, and other minute irregularities that numismatists recognize as indicators of extreme rarity. And when experts examine these coins, they analyze every tiny detail of the metal, the strike, and the design, looking for patterns that indicate an error of production, because it is these errors that elevate a simple 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar asset. And the excitement surrounding the 1980 penny comes not just from its rarity, but from the fact that it represents a modern, familiar coin that suddenly defies expectations, proving that even in the late 20th century, when billions of pennies were minted, extraordinary rarity could still exist. And that is what makes this coin both fascinating and terrifying to collectors, because the idea that someone could have spent $39 million worth of value unknowingly is simultaneously thrilling and mind-boggling. And over the years, collectors have scoured countless rolls, coin jars, and estate sales to discover these rare 1980 pennies, creating stories of incredible luck, frustration, and eventually triumph, as a single coin could completely change the life of someone who recognized its significance. And the psychology behind its value is almost as compelling as the coin itself, because people are drawn not only to the potential financial reward, but to the intellectual satisfaction of identifying a coin that most people overlook, understanding the minting anomalies, and confirming its authenticity through professional grading services, which meticulously assess factors like strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and alignment, ensuring that only the most perfect examples receive elite status. And these verified specimens instantly become headline-making treasures in the numismatic world, driving competition, frenzy, and jaw-dropping auction prices. And the 1980 penny is also a remarkable study in human and mechanical interaction, because its errors are the result of tiny imperfections in the minting process, where high-speed presses, slightly misaligned dies, and variations in metal flow combined to produce coins that defied standard quality controls. And that interplay of precision and imperfection is exactly what creates rarity in modern coins, turning ordinary currency into historic artifacts. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is that it bridges the gap between modern circulation and legendary numismatic value, because it is a coin that people recognize from their own lives, from change in their wallets. Yet it is simultaneously one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence, a paradox that fuels fascination, storytelling, and obsession among collectors, investors, and enthusiasts. And over the decades, numerous stories have emerged of accidental discoveries, where ordinary people found 1980 pennies in rolls, cash registers, or inherited collections, only to realize years later, after professional verification, that they were holding a coin of unprecedented rarity. And these stories create the mythology around the coin, adding emotional weight to its already staggering monetary value, because the thrill of discovery, the tension of verification, and the life-changing potential of ownership combine to create an unparalleled collector's experience. And the 1980 penny also teaches a lesson about observation, patience, and attention to detail, because without careful examination, these coins would have been indistinguishable from ordinary pennies. Yet their hidden features make them some of the most valuable modern coins ever produced. And that is why numismatists emphasize the importance of closely studying every coin, looking for die marks, doubled elements, off-center strikes, planchet variations, and other anomalies that could turn an everyday coin into a multi-million-dollar legend. And the market value of the 1980 penny reflects not just rarity, but survival, because many examples were lost, damaged, or destroyed before anyone recognized their importance, leaving behind only a tiny number of pristine specimens, each of which now carries both historical significance and enormous financial worth. And the competitive nature of coin collecting has only amplified this effect, because collectors, dealers, and investors are all aware that discovering a verified 1980 penny could completely change the stakes, create new headlines, and rewrite the record books for modern U.S. coinage. And the coin's errors, though subtle, are the fingerprints of a moment in history. The intersection of human oversight, mechanical production, and the sheer randomness of survival, a combination that collectors recognize instantly and value tremendously. And the narrative of the 1980 penny extends beyond just its errors, because it is a symbol of the unexpected potential of everyday objects, a reminder that the mundane can conceal the extraordinary, that chance and observation can transform ordinary experiences into life-altering events. And it is this combination of rarity, history, and discovery that has made the coin legendary, inspiring entire generations of collectors to search, study, and obsess over coins that might otherwise be ignored. And the excitement surrounding this penny is fueled by professional grading services, auction houses, and private collectors who meticulously verify, document, and trade these coins, ensuring that every confirmed example becomes a piece of numismatic history. And the frenzy surrounding the 1980 penny also demonstrates the power of scarcity in modern markets, because while billions of pennies were minted, only a microscopic fraction survived with the condition and anomalies necessary to achieve multi-million-dollar valuation. And this scarcity, combined with the thrill of discovery and the certainty of verification, creates an almost addictive collector psychology, drawing people into rolls of coins, estate sales, and private collections, hoping, always hoping, to stumble upon the next historic find. And the story of this coin also underscores the incredible interplay of luck, timing, and knowledge in numismatics, because while any penny could theoretically be valuable, only those who recognize anomalies, understand grading standards, and verify authenticity can truly unlock the coin's potential. And it is precisely this combination of factors that turns a simple 1980 penny from ordinary circulation coin to multi-million-dollar legend. And the legacy of this coin will continue to inspire collectors, investors, and enthusiasts for decades, because it demonstrates that even modern coins, even coins produced in mass quantities, can defy expectations, achieve historic rarity, and transform ordinary objects into extraordinary treasures. And every auction, every private sale, every verified specimen only strengthens its legend, making the 1980 penny a symbol of opportunity, discovery, and the untold potential hiding in plain sight. And collectors continue to share stories, research, and excitement around this coin, building a culture of appreciation, education, and intense engagement, because the thrill of holding a verified 1980 penny, a coin worth $39 million, is unlike anything else in the world of collecting. Combining historical intrigue, financial potential, and the satisfaction of understanding rarity, errors, and preservation. And as more people learn about its story, the fascination, competition, and demand only increase, ensuring that this coin will remain at the forefront of numismatic attention, inspiring collectors to examine every coin, study every anomaly, and dream of discovery. Because the possibility of finding one of these rare pennies is the ultimate motivator, the ultimate collector's high, and the ultimate demonstration of how history, chance, and human observation combine to create legendary value. And for anyone who has ever handled pennies, especially from 1980, the thought that a single coin could be worth $39 million is simultaneously thrilling, terrifying, and irresistible, because it reminds us that ordinary objects can contain extraordinary potential. And that with knowledge, diligence, and a little luck, life-changing discoveries can happen anywhere, even in the coins we overlook every day. And the 1980 penny perfectly embodies this lesson, teaching collectors, enthusiasts, and the curious that history is not always obvious, value is not always visible, and the most significant treasures can be hiding in plain sight. And that is why, if you are fascinated by rare coins, life-changing discoveries, and jaw-dropping values, you should like this video. Subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because the next ordinary coin you see could be the next $39 million legend waiting to be discovered.